Assalamualaikum, hello, guten Tag. Today, I would like to present to you about chiseling process. Our learning objectives are define the chisel. Second is applications of chiseling. Third is state the different types of chisel. Fourth, you could explain chisel work technique and chisel sharpening. Last but not least, you know the safety precaution while using chisel. Chisel is the wedge-like tool with cutting edge at the end of the blade. Chisel often made of steel. Chisel making details in wood, stone or metal. These are the parts of chisel. It have hardening cutting edge, wedge, fork shank, head not hardened. The important part of chisel is the hardening cutting edge. This is because the hardening cutting edge will cut, chop, or scrape the wood. These are the applications of chisel: chopping, paring, scraping. There are various types of applications that chisel can do.
And really all you have to do is take your chisel, drop it on the wood, and pull back. Nice shapes.
These are the types of chisel: bend chisel, dovetail chisel, flat chisel, femur chisel, and paring chisel. Bench chisel. The general purpose of chisel. Bench chisel can do chopping, trimming, paring, and etc. Bench chisel are the most used chisel for the bench work. First chisel to purchase when equipping a workshop. Dovetail chisel. Special tool with long thin blade with bevel edges. It used only for finishing of dovetail joints. Commonly a long thin blade with bevel edges and a horn cutting edge of between 20 and 30 degrees. It will cleaning out and sharpening up the edges of dovetail joints. It's easy to access to the joint because of the shape and the dimension of the dovetail chisel. Femur chisel. Thicker blade and square edges without bevel. Good for removing lots of wood fast for the bench work. Used for heavy-duty tasks for rough material. Flat chisel. To cut bars and rods. To obtain flat and finished surface. Paring chisel. Usually used for small wood and tight space. The long blade very suit for cleaning the groove and finishing and neatening up joints. Long thin edge chisel for a finishing work. The bevel is along its length. Used to cut thinnest wood precisely. Work technique. To know the work technique is really important when using chisel. The basic work technique is use forcing the blade into some material to cut it. The diving force may be applied by pushing by hand or by using a mallet or hammer. Paring cut. Same as shave or trim. usually for finishing the surface of the wood. Firstly, attach to workpiece with clamp. Then, keep the back of the chisel flat against the wood. Pivot the chisel as you move the blade. Remember to use blade bevel down if shaving. Face the bevel up when flattening a cut. These are examples of paring. If you can see, paring cut never use a mallet.
Place the chisel into the scribe line along the edge and pare halfway across the tendon. Then, come in from the other end and finish it.
Chopping cut. When you are cutting down into a piece of timber, you can use bench chisel and femur chisel. First, you need to hold the chisel vertical to workpiece with your dominant hand. Align bank chisel with scribe line. Strike chisel with mallet, and last chop down and cut along. Remember, make sure you wear safety gloves. These are examples of chopping cut. If you can hear, that is the sound of mallet that strike on the chisel. You need to hit the chisel with mallet according to how deep you want to cut the material. The working technique of scraping. First, mount the workpiece so it does not move when working with it. Hold the chisel with your finger, press it on the surface and move the chisel towards you. Do not press too hard and beware the corners of the chisel. The chisel must be vertical and the back of chisel is facing you. Chisel sharpening. Use light cut. If you do heavy cut, the chisel edge will dull very quickly. Dull chisel is a dangerous tool because cutting with it requires more power. Means less precision and risk of slipping and damaging workpiece is very high. Maintain the cutting angle of the cutting edge. Use 100 grit rib for the grinder. Too much heat will weaken the steel of the chisel. Chisel cutting angle. The sharper the angle, the sharper the chisel, the better it will cut. The correct point or cutting angle of a chisel depends on the material to be chipped. Sharp angles are given for soft materials and wide angles for hard materials. Right angle is the angle between the top face of the cutting point and normal 90 degrees to the surface at cutting edge. Meanwhile, the clearance angle are the angle between the bottom face of the point and the tangent to the work surface originating at the cutting edge. Lastly, the safety precaution while using a chisel. Wear safety glasses. Use the right size of the chisel for the job. Store your chisels in a rack so they don't hit each other and lose the sharpness of the cutting edge. Protect your chisel from rust. Closed tool chest recommended. Make sure that the cutting edge is sharp. Dull chisel can be difficult to control and require more effort to do the job. Store chisel in a storage roll, a clothes or a plastic bag with slots for each chisel and keep them in a drawer or tray. That's all for the chiseling process. Thank you and stay at home. Stay safe.